Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. As I'm recording this video with the summer holiday coming to an end, I would like to share with you some of my tips on how to succeed at A-level maths, whether you're just starting in year 12 or preparing for your exams in year 13. At the end of this video, I will also share some of my favourite resources with you. So with all of that said, let's begin. Okay, my first piece of advice is to not overlook the basics. Maths is probably the subject in which your GCSE knowledge is the most important, as everything that you learn at A level builds directly on the foundation that you lay at GCSE. And a good way to make sure you've got all of this knowledge secured is to just take any GCSE paper from any exam board and just have a go at it. And through that process, you should hopefully be able to identify any gaps in your knowledge, as it's crucial that you fill them in before getting stuck into A level content. And just to give you a quick example of this, at GCSE, you will have looked at circles and parts of the circles, and maybe even the equation of some circles. And these are all foundations for this whole chapter in the pure Year 1 textbook, all about circles. So there you learn about midpoints and perpendicular bisectors, equations of circles in more detail, and tangent and chord properties. And this is again a foundation for what you learn in year 2 about radians, which is another angle unit based around circles. So hopefully you can see that all your knowledge in maths builds on stuff that you've done before. So the basics are really, really important in that regard. My second tip is to stay as organized as possible. There's a lot of content to cover in A-level maths, and it's important that you're on top of your workload. So, for example, trying to do homework as soon as possible, during your frees if you can, when you can ask people around you for help if you're unsure of anything. And this also overlaps with my third tip, which is to not be afraid to ask for help, whether it's from your teachers, your classmates, or even YouTube videos if you're a bit shy like me, or you don't like your teacher. I can't emphasize enough how much a good understanding of a topic helps in your ability to retain information and processes, and also to use that knowledge to problem solve. And that moment when suddenly an explanation makes everything click into place is a really good feeling. So if you can get into the habit of constantly questioning things and being intrigued by how everything works, I promise you A-level maths will be less of a struggle. And you might even find yourself enjoying maths. That is, of course, if you don't already. Now, my fourth tip is to practice, practice, and practice some more. And I'm sure everyone and their mum has told you this already, but it's for good reason. As when you're revising for maths, there's little point in summarizing information over and over again, or creating fancy looking notes that just live forever on the shelf, or even just staring at your textbook for hours. The most efficient way to make progress by far is to just do as many practice questions as you can get hold of. And by just doing loads and loads of questions, you're not only practicing your exam technique, but also you're consolidating all of the knowledge that you've learned so far and strengthening your problem solving skills. As part of exam practice, you should also aim to do as many past papers as possible, and there are plenty available from all of the exam boards. And even though the questions might be worded slightly differently, the content is all the same. And you can also find some unofficial practice papers online, like the ones from madasmaths, which I highly recommend, as there's so many of them and they've all got complete solutions. And they're also ranked by difficulty. So if you're looking for a challenge, there's lots of tough questions you can get stuck into over there. And speaking of challenging questions, as a quick self-plug here, if you're doing maths with Edexcel, I've uploaded videos walking through each of the challenge questions that you find in your textbook by chapter. And currently I have all of the year 1 videos up for pure and applied, and I'm currently working on uploading the rest of year 2 content. So if you find yourself stuck on any of these challenging questions, you might find it useful to have a little peek at my videos to give you a helping hand along the way. And finally, my tip number 5 is to just try and enjoy yourself. As with studying any subject, there will always be ups and downs. There will always be those lessons where it feels like nothing makes sense and you feel really frustrated. And I'm definitely not talking about the large data set. But there will also be those lessons where everything clicks and you feel on top of the world. but just remember that every bit of work you put in is progress and a step forwards, and try to take pride in watching your skills and your knowledge grow over the next year or two. Now for the part that you've all been waiting for. Here are my resources that I found really useful and I hope will help you all too. So first up, I've got both TL Maths and Bicen Maths. And both of these YouTube channels have videos up for every topic in A-level maths. So if you're ever stuck, I recommend going to either channel for some help on any specific topics. And you can also find some fantastic explanations for why certain things work the way they do to feed your curiosity, especially with TL Maths. And I really highly recommend both of these channels. And as for exam questions and papers, the first one here is madasmaths.com, which, as I've said before, is an incredible source of questions. And if you're instead looking for exam questions by topic, the Bicen Maths Google Drive has all of the past Edexcel questions grouped by topic. And if you've done all of these questions before, then there's also alevelmathsrevision.com, which has old spec OCR questions sorted by topics according to the new specification, which are also invaluable for practice. And that's everything for this video. If you found this helpful, please do subscribe and like these videos. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.